All right, we are on the live again. I want to say thank you for joining us. My goodness, we are live and kicking, and we are here today again as an opportune time to enjoy ourselves as the Lord has given us this day. All right, so we are going to hit the ball rolling. As you can tell, today I have the whole studio for myself because Gifty is caught up in something that is beyond her control and, of course, beyond my control. Remember, we talked about not being controlling, right? So if it is beyond your control, you let it happen. So I can't control her not being here. I can't control her. And I had to let it go today. Oh my goodness, it pains me. But that is what it is, right? We live by example. So control. Today I couldn't make her come. And so today I am here alone, but still we have a good show ahead of us. As you can tell, I don't know if you remember, but I think we said this that we are going to actually, I just want to show you I'll show you in a sec, the topic that we are doing. We are going to definitely enjoy ourselves. And the reason is that we have a nice show. All right, so let me open up my show title. I think you would have already seen it, but if not, just so you know, you could probably just forget it and go right ahead because you already know why we are here. Today we are talking about overcoming financial stress. Remember, we have been dealing with stress all this time. Stress is not good for our health. We've been talking about stress over so many weeks now. And today, financial stress is one that we don't want to have to deal with anymore. And for that, we have prepared a nice show. We're going to go through this together. And so I want you to share the stream. If you just joined, wherever you're watching from, just make sure you click the share button so that we will have other people enjoying it with us. We're going to talk about overcoming financial stress. Stress is not good. And last time we talked about marital stress, which is not good either. We've talked about body stress or physical stress, stress that comes in your body and that hurts a lot in your health. And today we are talking about financial stress, another form of stress, which I think is one of the worst kinds of stress. Unfortunately, we all go through financial stress at one point or the other. But the good thing is today we're going to go through a few things that will help us overcome financial stress and live a better, happier, joyful lives as God intended us to live. All right, so that is what our show is going to be about today. And before we continue, as you already remember and know, if you have watched this show before, we always have a weekly health tip. Though we are doing stress, talking about stress, which is a health issue, we still want to bring something unique to the table every week. And today, our weekly health tip that we want to deal with is that there is a new FDA approval for COVID shots. And so those of us who have not had COVID shot yet, you still have a chance, right? It looks like it's a little late. I have had people come to my place of practice and we don't have the older doses anymore. But the point here, this weekly tip is that if you're over 65 and older, or you are immunocompromised, which basically means that your health is not really on point. Maybe you've had a kidney or liver transplant or heart transplant, or you are HIV positive and you're treating a cancer of some sort. If you are dealing with any health issue which puts you under a stress, we're talking about stress, right? My goodness, which brings your health under your immune system under stress. Then, even though you may not be 65 or older, you still need to get another booster of the COVID shot. The bivalent COVID boosters are available now because if you remember those times we talked about, if you have the shot over a period, maybe 6 months and above, usually the immunity wanes. And for people who are unable to make their own immune system, ramp up as a result of either their lack of strong immune system or even age, they can't keep up. Their antibodies are gone or are reduced. It is time for you to get another COVID booster. And this is healthy It is going to make you revamp your immune system so that if you meet the COVID virus again, you can hit it and you can overcome it. Remember, if you are not vaccinated or you are immune compromised, you can still die of COVID. So let us not forget about the fact that COVID is still real. So the health tip this week is that if you are immunocompromised or you are dealing with any health issue or you are of the age of 65 and above, please get a COVID booster. Health tip for the week. My goodness. All right. All right. Now, with that being said, we are going to go straight to our show today. And I just want us to remember something. I know you remember. You guys are smart, right? But don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to share, because doing that will help us reach more people. And the system or the Facebook and all those other places you are watching from, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, wherever you're watching from, those people will know that people are liking the video and they will watch too. So don't forget to do that. So for the summary of our show, what we are going to do today is we're going to talk about what is financial stress. The first thing we're going to talk about is what is financial stress in the first place. We seem to think we know it, but let's go and talk about it quickly. And then we're also going to talk about the causes of financial stress. Causes of financial stress. Remember, we are enemies of stress. We don't want anybody to be stressed up, especially when it comes to finances and the other issues we talked about. So we're going to talk about the causes of financial stress, and then we're going to talk about how to cope or overcome financial stress. These are the areas we're going to hit today, and I need you to have your pens and pieces of paper and whatever it is that you can write on, or even on your phone, your iPad, wherever you're watching from, and get your questions up, get your comments up, so that we can have a conversation, especially because Gifty is not here. I need people to talk with me on the live and comment so that we can have a conversation. I don't like to be alone. So I'm hoping that if you're watching, you're going to do that. And if you watch on the replay too, make sure you still hit us with your comments. All right. Some of them we will see. And if we do, we'll let them, come up so everybody else will see it. All right. So that is what we are going to do. These three areas. All right. So let's move on then. What is financial stress? What is financial stress? So when we talk about financial stress, we are talking about stress that comes from financial challenges. My goodness, that's so easy, right? Oh, my. Stress that comes from financial challenges. And so I want to believe that a lot of people have financial stress because money is not easy to come by. And for that matter, getting and managing money can lead to stress, especially if you don't do it the right way. And so financial stress, again, emphasis on the stress. Some people will talk more about the finances, but our focus is dealing with the stress that comes with your finances, financial stress. That's what we want to hit up. So that is why our definition is just straight to the point. Financial stress is the kind of stress you go through when you are facing some financial challenges. And it couldn't be as easier than that, right? The other thing is financial stress comes when you are unable to become financially resilient. You don't have financial resilience. Money comes, and yet there is always that kind of a pool. Either the money is disappeared, or the money is insufficient, or you are not solvent enough. That leads to financial stress, right? The other thing is that financial stress also comes if you have to do long-term goals, financial long-term goals. Most of us have been thinking about retirement. Some people are not thinking about retirement yet, right? Why? Because they are younger. Right now, it is something that they don't need to face. They are probably putting it away. But if you are hitting the middle ages, if you are within the age of 60, or that is not even middle, that's past middle age, you are 45, 50, 55, then you begin to think about long-term goals if you hadn't already made it. And those issues, of retirement can bring undue stress on your body. And that is what we mean by financial stress. All right. So financial stress, as we know, can lead to emotional stress. That is why we want to talk about it, because we believe that in order for you to have sound mind, in order for you to have very good emotions, in order for you to be stable in terms of your mind, mental health wise, you have to have a good and a sound financial situation. If your finances are not working out, you are going to have your financial stress is going to eventually lead to emotional stress, which may eventually lead to depression, anxiety, and all those other stuff that we all know about on this show. We have learned. The other thing is financial stress. The reason why we want to talk about dealing with financial stress is that financial stress can lead to body stress. Video last week, if you didn't see it, you got to go back and watch it. What actually goes on in the body if you are stressed, and you don't want to be stressed in your physical body. Apart from the mental stress, the emotional stress, you can also be physically stressed, and the body stress is not good for you. And financial stress will definitely lead not only to emotional stress, not only to all those things that we know of as being bad in terms of mental health issues that could come up, but it can also affect you physically if your finances are eating you up. So that is one thing that we also have to keep in mind there. And then if financial stress becomes persistent, if you don't deal with your financial problems and it continues over a long period, what eventually happens is that you become chronically stressed. And if you have watched our series on stress, if you haven't, I'm pretty sure you're going to go back and watch all those. That chronic stress is a leading cause of death in a lot of people, and especially more in some specific populations. And I believe, those of you who are watching, you belong to that kind of population I'm talking to. So we don't want to be financially stressed. And so that is why it is important. Somebody may ask, why are you talking about financial stress when you're dealing with stress as a health topic? Financial stress definitely leads to chronic stress, and that is not going to be good for you. All right, so that is what is happening. Now, let's move on then. All right, so let me see where I am now. All right, so causes, we're going to talk about causes of financial stress. And the first cause we want to talk about is insufficient income. My goodness. Insufficient income. Insufficient income can lead to financial stress. Now, it is one thing working, it's one thing making ends meet, but another thing having enough to make sure that you pay all your bills and enjoy your life in such a way that you don't have to go through issues all the time. So insufficient income, you may be making money all right from your job, from your work, or from wherever you are. But if it is not enough, then obviously you are not making enough income, and that can stress you up. So financial stress can come from insufficient income. And we're going to talk more about that. And then financial stress can also come through high debt. Many people are seriously in debt. And especially if you live in the US, getting in debt has become normal because, even the banks, the system has been set up to operate in a way that says that you have to have credit. If you want to buy something huge, you have to have a good credit. And people end up being in debt, thinking that, just having credit, and then before they know, that credit has become overused, stressed, and stretched beyond what they can usually afford. And so that is a very serious thing. Very, very serious. Very, very, very serious. So debt, high debt can lead to serious financial stress. Most people are only stressed because of their debt. If you went to school and you have college debt, some people are dealing with college debt, and it can be stressful, especially if you're not making enough to be able to service that loan that you took. Meanwhile, life got to go on. You got to marry, you got to have the children, you got to take care of of other things. You got to have a place, a nice, decent place to live, and all those things add up if you go on using debt. And so when you get to the point where you are seriously in debt, you become financially stressed. Some people, a sad thing to say, some people have actually committed suicide because of the debt situation that they were in. They were so much in debt, thinking about how am I going to make, payments for these debts. And so they took their lives. That is financial stress leading to emotional stress, which is depression, and major depression leading to suicide or death in that situation. So financial stress can be very bad, especially if it comes through debt. When you lose control, you feel like, there's no way you can pay this debt off. You are making, I'm going to use an example. You are making like $100,000 a year or 40,000, 50, name it, whatever you are making. Meanwhile, you have wrapped up your debt to the tune of maybe $1 million, and you look up to it and you're like, how am I going to ever be debt free? I'm probably better off not being alive. And people have died as a result. So we're gonna we want to bring that up as a major cause of stress. And people who don't even die, by suicide may end up also being sick as a result of the debt, because the stress of thinking about this debt leads them into physical and emotional stress, which makes them sick physically, as we have learned in our previous videos. That stress, that chronic stress situation makes them sick, become diabetic, become hypertensive, they become, major depressive, they become anxious, they get all the other diseases. In fact, they even get arthritis. Just think about it. Just think about it. Being stressed financially leading to arthritis. And yes, you can go back and check the videos, because stress can lead to all those inflammatory kind of diseases that we see in people. And so debt is not your friend. Debt is not your friend. That being said, if you are in debt, I'm not saying that hurt yourself. In fact, the whole point of this video or this show is to let you know that there's a way out. Talking about the causes is not just enough. We just want you to know how it is caused. But in reality, there is a way out. And we're going to talk about those things that can make you get out of debt and stuff like that. So just stay tuned and share the video and let's roll together. All right. The other thing is the other cause of financial stress is limited financial knowledge. Oh my goodness. My goodness. This is huge. I used to think I knew a lot. There's one thing going to school, getting your doctorate in anything, PhD, whatever it is, your career that you have, a computer expert, an engineer, and there's no form of education concerning finances when you go to school. At least those of us who went to college here in the United States and in Ghana, both places I've gone to college, so I can say there is no studies, no curriculum that is inclusive of personal financial education. No. I think the only thing that I did here after my college education is to go through some kind of a counseling about how to make sure that you pay your student loan. But basically, that's the focus of even that, is to tell you that you should pay it off. It's not really encouraging you to make any sound financial decisions, basically. And so you can have all the professorial degrees. You can have all the knowledge that it is. You can even be an accountant. You can even be a money manager. If you lack financial knowledge, you are doomed for financial stress. And most people do. The point is that most people have limited financial knowledge. Until recently, when I went through a certification course to become a financial services provider, I thought I knew everything. But oh my goodness, many things I did not know. And so I want you to watch out, because we're going to have a video and talk more about those things. But for now, I just want you to know that there's more to know about finances than you think you know. And lack of knowledge can actually make you have financial stress. Most people are making, including me, until I knew this, I was making a lot of mistakes, financial wise. No matter how much money you make, you can make those mistakes if you are limited in knowledge in terms of finances. And so that is leading many people to stress, undue stress. And that stress is making them sick physically and emotionally, mental health, as well as physical, somatic health. And so open up, let's humble ourselves and let's learn something, because financial stress is something that can kill. If you, and the main causes here, there's a lot of causes, but for us, we're just going to go through these three causes of financial stress here. So insufficient income, high debt, and the other one that we talked about, which is lack of knowledge, financial knowledge. Now, the next thing we're talking about is, how do you overcome financial stress? This is the area that I'm happy to share with you all, because this is where we have actually come. The whole point is to show you how to overcome financial stress so that you become healthier overall. How do you overcome financial stress? All right. The first one is budgeting. The first one is budgeting. And most people think, it is not necessary. It is not necessary. But if you are looking at ways of overcoming financial stress, then the first thing you have to do is to learn to budget. There's a reason why nations, including the most powerful and the richest countries in the US and all those other countries that you can think of, there's a reason why there's a budget. Budgets are important. No matter how much fight or debate goes on on a budget, countries do budget. And there's a reason, because with a budget, you can know how much you're getting and how much you can also spend. Without a budget, you are basically managing your finances as a blind man. You just spend as you may, you get as you may, and you spend as you may. And those things eventually lead you to financial stress because you don't know how your money is making you. You don't know what you're getting from or what you've been doing as far as your work is concerned. And even if you don't know where the money is going. So budgets are important. So I put up a sample budget. Let me see if I can pull that budget up. And if I am, we can just go through quickly, sample budget right here. So this is a sample and also pretty simple budget that anybody can make. This is just for a start. I know you probably have a very busier, expense and income life as far as, budgets are concerned. But this is for those who have no idea what the budget should be like. So with this, we can actually start off, it doesn't matter where you're watching from. I'm using dollars because this is where I am. But if you live in any country and you're watching and you don't use dollars, you could use rupees or whatever currency you use, cedis, francs, whatever it is that you use, European Union money, whatever currency, it will work the same. And the amounts are not going to be like I have shown here because everybody is different, right? Everybody is different. So for this sample budget, this is a person that makes an income of $3,500 a month, right? It's just a month. And, this person puts down fixed expenses. He or she has a rent or mortgage for where they live, $1,000. They have utilities, which includes their electricity bill, their water, gas, internet, telephone, all those good stuff that we pay for, right? Internet, and this person has allocated $200 for it. And then there's transportation, their car payments. If they have a car note or car loan that they're paying, they got to have that ready with them, right? As they're doing their budget. And then the insurance on the car, the fuel they buy per month. And then if they don't have a car, but they're doing public transportation, that public transportation also, whatever amount they're spending. So this is a meticulous thing. If you are not a person who is detail-oriented and you are watching, you say, I don't have time to do this, then you don't have time to make a joyful life. You basically want to fail in life. And so everybody has to have time. The good thing is that if you are married, then it is great because one person may be good with the numbers, so you can defer or, delegate your spouse to take care of the details that we are talking about here. So don't say that I cannot do this, I don't have time. Yeah, let your spouse take care of it. If you're a woman and your husband seems to be more numbers oriented, more detail oriented, let them take care of this budget stuff. And if not, if you can do it, then so be it. And if both of you are interested in making sure things work out, both of you can do it together. That's even better than just one doing. So that you can come on agreement and say that, look, we're going to spend this amount of money every month for car, for our fuel, and for this. Some of the things we are using, we can't change them. It's already happening. So you just have to have a piece of pen and paper, a computer document, a Word document, and just begin to type them down and add them up and see what you're doing. So that is a fixed expenses. And we like I said, there's a transportation, there's health insurance. Some people are, paying health insurance through their job. Or if you're buying it and paying outside and that's not through your job, you can also do that. There's your debt. If you have student loans, as I alluded to, credit cards and stuff like that, you can also allocate the money that you use to pay for that. And then other fixed expenses like subscriptions and memberships. You are a member, organizations, or you subscribe to any magazines or any professional group. You make sure that you have that also handy as you do your budget. And then the next thing you do is personal care, you know, toiletries in the house, grooming, and stuff like that. You make the amount for it. This simple budget has $50. It may be less, it may be more for you. Clothing, how much you spending every month on clothing? My goodness. This is where, if you are your spouse is the person that goes to shopping on the malls every week because it's on sale, doing a budget will show you that you're wasting money there. Why? Because your budget will let you add up whatever amount you're spending on clothing. And then again, transportation, maintenance and repairs, and also put the amount there. Some of the things that are going to be already done, you are spending the money on already. You just sit down and make a simple budget and see how you are spending your money. And then medical expenses, the copays and prescriptions and stuff like that. Miscellaneous gifts, you go to funerals, you go to weddings and stuff, and you give gifts, you make out a line item for that also. And then you go to savings and goals. So in a budget, you have expenses and you have ways to save, and then you have income. So we already talked about the income, which is $3,500 per month for this person. And then we talked about the expenses. Now, this person has made a third line item for savings and goals. I mean, this first one is emergency fund. This person is saving $300 a month for emergencies. This person is saving about $200 a month for retirement, whether through 401k or IRA or whatever it is that you're doing, life insurance, whatever it is, they're putting it there. And then other stuff, other savings that they may have. Now, this, like I said, this is a sample budget, right? And so it may not include all the things that you are doing or all the things you hope to do. But sitting down and starting is the beginning of doing good. Without doing this, you are basically flying blind. It's like a pilot who puts a plane in autopilot and then forgets about it. When you get to a place where there's turbulence, you will not know that the plane, the autopilot can handle it. And so living without a budget is basically a place where you become stressed. When you hit the turbulence, that is where you begin to rock and you will run for the steer, but it may be too late. And so making sure that you do a budget is a sure way of overcoming financial stress. I can't stress it enough. My goodness, what a rhyme. Overcoming financial stress, and I can't stress it enough. All right. Yes, make a budget, a family budget. If you don't have a budget, I know I didn't have a budget until I went through that financial training I'm talking about, because we thought we're making the money, we're paying the bills. What's the need for a budget? Yes, there is a need, because that's how you know where things are going, where the money is going, and what money is coming in. And by having control through a budget, you can allocate, monies to specific things that are more important to you, some of which you're going to talk about. So stick to the stream as we move forward, because we ain't done yet. So this person adds up all the total expenses and it comes to $3,500. So they began with an income of $3,500 a month, and now they are at an expenses of $3,500. That's even including their savings. So this person is actually doing good, right? They're doing well because their budget has balanced. Now, if your budget is not balancing, this is where stress begins to come. And if you don't do a budget, you will not know that your budget is not balancing, because there's no budget, right? So if you are in the negative, you continue to stay in the negative, and then you'll be stressed, because there may be a time that you need money for something, and that thing you cannot afford, right? Because there's no money there. And if you had planned and did a budget, you will know at any point time, at any time t, as they taught us in physics, at any time t, you will know how much money you will have in your bank account. You know how much money is going to go out. And so you can say, you know what, I can squeeze and do this because I know this is what I have to have. But if you have no clue as to what is in there, what is the outflows, or how much money we are sending home, how much money we are helping the kids with, nothing. You just do when they need it. Then that's a recipe for disaster. Stress is going to come. And we don't want you to be in a life of stress. So hit the like button, hit the thumbs up, and let's share as we move forward. All right, so we move forward. Yes, thank you for the thumbs up. I see 7 thumbs up, and I'm hoping that people will also bring their comments. I see one comment here. Oh my goodness. Yes. Let's see if I can show that comment. right now. Let me see if I can show that comment right now. It says Eric, it says live and clear. My goodness. Live and clear. All right. Bring questions, bring your comments, bring your contributions as we move forward. As we move forward. All right. So that is financial budget, making a household or personal budget. Now, the next one is increase your income. If you have made a budget and you see that things are not working out, you still are in the red or you are negative or things are not making, you are not getting enough money to spend on the things that are necessary, that are good for you, then obviously you need to increase your income. If without a budget, you won't even know you're not making enough. You won't even know that when you add everything up, you are barely having anything left over. But once the budget is done, it will inform you that, hey, you probably need a second job. Hey, you probably need to quit this job that is paying you this money and get something that will pay you more. Or hey, you probably need to do something on the side, maybe a side job, something internet based after you come home from your work, just to get a little more. So the second thing to overcome financial stress is to increase your income. And that is real. I mean, there's nothing here to explain anymore. If your budget is not working out or if you are stressed financially, it means there's not enough income, because whatever you are making is not enough to make you spend to cover all the necessities of your life. And so you need to increase your income. Second job, ask for increase in payment, start a business, whatever it takes. You got to have a second source or even a third source if you're already doing two jobs, just to make sure that you can meet your budget in that regard. The third way of overcoming financial stress is to have protection and legacy. And this is something very important. Many people, somebody said that there's a lot of people who die for free. People are dying for free. What do I mean by that? If you cannot make ends meet, or if you are struggling to make ends meet, or you are just making it, just barely making it in life, you are getting enough to pay for your mortgage, for your food, your car, or your kids' education, and all, that's all you got. You should not live that way. You should not make your kids, your children, live that same lifestyle. No, the Bible says that a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. Some people are dying for free. That's what I'm trying to hit here. A good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. So if you are not stressed about how your kids, your children are going to make it in life, then you are not being a good parent already. Because you should be able to leave them money. If you are gone, your children should benefit from your leaving this planet. The moment you are pronounced dead and you are gone, people on the other side who are here on earth, who are not in heaven, as heaven is ready and happy to receive you, people on earth must not just cry that you are gone, but must also smile that at least, as for his kids, he set them up. His children and his family are good. They are going to live a better, happier life than he or she did. My goodness, I don't think you heard me. Come on, hit the like button right now. If you do not leave anything better for your children, then you have failed in life. So I'm challenging you men out there. We are actually the custodians of most of our families that we have, right? I'm challenging you men out there. I'm challenging you men out there. It's a challenge. It's a challenge that I'm throwing to you. You got to be able to ask yourself, how much am I going to live for my children or my wife when I'm not here? Financially speaking, they have heard enough about your struggles. They've heard enough about you're trying too hard to make life better for them. But when you leave this planet, you have to have a legacy for them, and the way to do that is to have protection. That is important. Life insurance is what I'm talking about. Proper protection. Something that the kids will say that daddy is gone or mommy is gone, but at least we are good. We are better off now. Now we can afford a better home. Now our mortgage is paid for. We don't have to struggle through life anymore because daddy is gone. My goodness. And if you are not there, Whether you are in the ministry, whether you are in a healthcare career, whether you are whatever job it is, whatever career you have, you got to be able to say that my children should live a better life than I did. And it starts off with having a better and proper protection, life insurance, that which will leave huge sums of money for your people when you are not there. You cannot, most of you cannot start a business right now and leave $1 million or 500,000 or 250,000 or even $100,000 right now for your children. You cannot start a new business right now and say that I'm starting this business within the next 20 years, within the next 10 years, within the next 15 years, I'm going to become a millionaire. And when I'm not here, my children will inherit it. Most of you cannot do that. But there's an easier way to do that. Buy life insurance, get yourself protected financially. And when you are gone, that $1 million will be there for your children. So your children will be lifted up from the poverty life or from the life of need or from the paycheck to paycheck lifestyle that you had enjoyed while you were here, while you were on earth. And so I challenge you, men, you moms, you fathers there, that if you haven't done any such a thing, make sure you start thinking about it, because that is legacy. A good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. And it starts with proper protection called life insurance. And if you have more questions, you can hit us on the live. And later on, we can talk to you more about it. Like I'm saying, I'm already certified and we can help you and situate you right there. But the most important thing I want to bring to you, what I'm bringing across right now, is that a man or woman who cannot have a business, who cannot leave $1 million or $500,000 in savings because they have no business that can do that through protection, a life insurance plan, most likely an IUL or something, a whole life, of course, not a term life, because term life may end before you pass away and all your money will be gone. But if that's all you can afford, so be it. At least something, you got to have something. And if you are on our group, Life and Health group, and you don't have this, I challenge you to also change and make that happen. It will cost you less to do that. And also, you can relax knowing that at least that part of the deal is done. When you are not here, you will know. And some of these things, some of these products have actually been set up in such a way that if you start early while you are here, you can get benefits out of that. You can get long-term care, protection, which is in case you need to go to what do you call it? A nursing home. You get older and somebody has to take care of you. These protections, you can get living benefits out of them. So it's not just for your children and their children, but you can also benefit out of them. So definitely you have to overcome financial stress for yourself and also take the stress off your family in case you are gone to heaven, so that people will not just remember you and say that, my dad brought me to school and he took care of me. And that's not enough anymore. My goodness. My goodness. That is not enough anymore. And so that is what we mean by protection and overcoming financial stress. That is more. Now, let's see if we can get to one more, if my mouse will allow me here. Yes. So that is one of the things that you can do to definitely get ahead in, see if I can use different mouse right here. The next one is debt management. Debt management. Debt management is also huge. Huge. To overcome financial stress, you got to have a plan to eliminate your debt. You have to have a plan to take away all your debt. Now, I don't know how much debt you have. I know my own debt. And I have made plans. As a matter of fact, I wanted to celebrate it on the live with Gifty at some point. But because of the debt management system we have followed, go back to our channel. There's a video that we talked about the avalanche method or debt roll-up method of eliminating your debt. Several ways. We actually had a guest and we went through that. Go back to the channel and look for that video and see how you can eliminate your debt. But you got to use something. Not doing anything will not make your debt disappear. Some of you with student loans in the hundreds of thousands. If you went to school in the US for pharmacy or for medicine or for nursing, and you didn't have a parent who had bought a huge, a better life insurance that they could use to pay for your tuition, I bet you have a lot of debt right now. And with that, you got to take care of it. Otherwise, it's going to make you not live to your full potential. Because if you make, for example, you make $1,000 and you have to use $400 to pay debt all the time, you are not enjoying the full benefits of what you actually are being paid for. And the only way to get rid of the debt is to manage it for some, with some way or that. If you don't, it's going to continuously make you stressed. And remember, stress is a life destroyer. All right, so that is one. The other thing that we want to talk about is to overcome your stress financially, you have to also set up an emergency fund. Emergency funds, because if you don't have an emergency fund, remember when COVID hit, right? I don't know if most of you do remember, but if you do remember over the time that COVID hit and people were asked to stay home, imagine if the government hadn't come to the aid of most. Some people would have gone very hungry. Hungry. I'm telling you, hungry. And in the US here, there was a moratorium on rent payment. Mortgage companies, banks were told you cannot evict people because they cannot pay. Imagine if it hadn't been like that. Now, granted, COVID was like a worldwide event, and nations were going through. If it is your own small challenge that comes, the government cannot come to your aid. Your government cannot come to your aid. And so if you have no set up emergency fund and something like that happens, that is stress for you. And beloved, you don't want to be stressed on financial issues. You don't want to go through life stressed up because you cannot afford your rent, because you lost your job and your landlord is sending mails. Oh my goodness, what a stressful situation, especially if you are the provider of the home. You are going to be stressed. And I'm pretty sure none of you want to do that. None of you want to go through that, right? And so definitely we need to manage our debt situation. Find a way of dealing with the debt such that you can completely become debt free. And again, we have a video also on our channel that talks about going through this just so that you overcome your debt situation. So it is important to become stress free in terms of finances. Take away the debt. Owning a lot of debt is not good for you. Like I'm saying, in the West, especially in the US, people are misguided about getting debt. When I went to college, the first thing everybody was telling me that now that you're in the university, you got to make sure you get a good credit card, and I was, and they know, the banks know that that's how they get you. Before I ended up in the university, I was working normal life, and I applied for store credits, a store that is already collapsed right now called Filings. Those of you who know, now it's called Macy's, right? It used to be Filings and they bought up Filings or whatever. I applied for store credit and they declined me. I applied for another store credit in an electronics shop. I think it was Best Buy. And they declined me. As soon as I hit college and started studying, they started bringing me credit card offers. Why? Because they know that now my situation is going to change and they want my business. And that's how I started getting debt. Because, oh man, now I got a credit card, And so in the US or in the West, you are going to be encouraged to get debt. Because it sounds like when you need a mortgage, you need a bank to finance your house, they tell you have to have a good debt. Good credit. And before you know, you are owning credit card bills and not managing it properly. You can have a good credit without having huge debt. If you have a credit card and you paid off everything, and the credit card is like you have a balance of $10,000 and you paid it off or you don't use it, you have like $300 on it as your balance. You actually have used only $300, and that $300 you pay $50 a month or whatever. You have a good credit. But to have $10,000 and use $9,500 or all of it, or even half of it, doesn't give you in any fair position. You are becoming stressed because all it takes is to you lose your job or whatever, and then you cannot afford it. So debt management as well as emergency funds, because emergency funds are needed when you go through situations like a loss of job or something like that. So yes, You may be encouraged to get debt, but you have to have emergency funds just in case the uneventful happens. All right. That is very, very important. You don't want to go through without that. Now, the next thing is investment. The next way that we can overcome financial stress is to learn to invest. Now, it is very important here that most people have started investment when they had huge debt, when they have no emergency funds. That is a recipe for disaster. Because if you invest, the key thing about investment is that you are putting money away and with the hopes, the odds of winning maybe 50-50, sometimes 80-20. But there's a probability that you can lose all the money. And so before you do investments, make sure that you've done all those other things we've talked about. You have emergency fund, your debt is on point, you've managed your debt and your budget and everything. You have your life insurance taking care of you so that even if you lose your investment, at least you can either take money from your life insurance for new projects, or if not that, at least you can always fall back to a comfortable situation. So you don't do investment when you have no budget, when you have no emergency funds, when you have no life insurance. Some people are doing that, but all it takes is for them to lose that money and everything is gone. Or, God forbid, they pass away, they lose their investments, their business is gone, and then also they don't have anything to leave for their families. So you got to go through with how it's supposed to be done. Now, the next thing on overcoming, the next way you overcome or you can cope with financial stress is to quench your taste. My goodness. I like this one. Quench your taste. You got to quench your taste. My goodness. This is because during my training, I think during our presentation on our channel, on one of them, we said that poor people have some of the most expensive taste. Poor people who don't have money, some of them have the most expensive taste. They will drive the newest cars. They will drive the most expensive cars. They will live in a mansion, and they don't have any wiggle room. That is a lifestyle of the poor, because their mentality is that what they've had, they want to show off. That is the poor man's lifestyle. Here in the US, you may be living close to somebody who is a millionaire, and you probably wouldn't be able to tell. They will be in their T-shirt, and they may drive the I don't want to mention the car brand. They may not appear as the rich person because they know what to do with their money. And for people who have been in poverty, and it's not, I don't want to blame that. We all did it. It is like your first experience of money, your first taste of good credit. Why won't you, sign up for some nice Porsche or some nice Beamer or some nice Mercedes? You too, you have arrived. But that is the poor man's mentality. With that, they don't even have anything else to fall on. And most of them don't even have life insurance. Most of them don't even have any emergency funds. Why? Because it is like they have arrived. But a rich man, or people who have the rich mindset, they do the right things first. So quench your taste. And those of us, those of us men who want to show off to ladies that, we got taste, we got this, we got that, we can be in trouble. We can definitely be in trouble. And so quench your taste. Quench your taste. That way you will not be in dire financial stress. Because if you amass or buy these expensive things that you cannot afford, what is going to happen is that you are going to be stressed financially. Every month around the time that bill is due, you are struggling because you got to gather money to pay the bank for your car payment, a car that you couldn't naturally afford, but you're driving it because it was on loan and you are stressed. So quench your taste. That is the key here. Quench your taste. If you do not quench your taste, you are going to continuously live in financial stress. Financial stress. And I'm believing that you guys don't want to be financially stressed. I'm pretty sure you don't want to be financially stressed. So let's quench our taste. All of us, Gifty will say, cut your coat according to your size. Buy the stuff that will just meet your needs, not just what people want you to buy. some people may say that, oh, you went to college, you are a doctor, you are a nurse, oh, you should drive a better car. Hey, they are not paying it for you, right? You are paying for it. And if you are paying for it, you got to make sure that you factor in how you are paying. Do not listen to people's pressures. Do not listen to your classmates who have made it and try to live like them when you know that you cannot afford it. Live within your own means and save your money until you have arrived to a point where you can purchase that vehicle, or you can live in that house and be comfortable. That is when you actually have arrived, not when you cannot afford it and you do it under pressure because everybody else is living that way. That is a recipe for financial stress, sickness, diabetes, arthritis, and the like. Depression and all those things can set in just because you want to live a lifestyle that you cannot afford. So quench your taste right there. That is exactly what we will say. Quench your taste. Now, we are wrapping up soon. And so what we will say is that financial stress can actually destroy your life. Financial stress is one that can definitely destroy your life. And we want you to put your comments, send your likes. I see a lot of people liking it, but I need more comments. If you have a question or contribution, make sure you bring that up. And make sure that if you are not following the channel, you click the follow on Facebook to follow. If you are also watching on YouTube, make sure you click the subscribe so that when we go on live and show some of our health topics, you can also enjoy in them. And as a matter of fact, do the bell to hit the bell button so that anytime you post something, it will sound on your phone. Your device will let you that, hey, Dr. Tay and his group, we are live. All right. And click the like if you haven't already. Click the like. I've seen 10 thumbs up and 4 likes, and I'm pretty sure more people are going to be watching also after the live. And so make sure you do us that favor by clicking the like, and also the like the what do you call it, the clicking the like and the share button, just to make sure other people can also see it. Yes, I see people clicking the share button, and that is something that will help us out. And so what we are saying is that financial stress is manageable, okay? Financial stress is definitely manageable. It is something that you can take care of. We don't want anybody to get hypertension. We don't want anybody to get diabetes. We don't want anybody to get major depression, anxiety. We don't want anybody to be in panic. We don't want anybody also to live in fear. We don't want anybody to live in perpetual and constant fear of bill collectors coming. That all those are elements of stress that can hurt your body, hurt your marriage. It can hurt your service to God. It will make you not enjoy this life that God has given you. We got to enjoy our lives, whether we have a lot or we don't. But the person that has learned to be able to live within their means, make more money, of course, and then enjoy what they have, those are the people who actually have fun in life. And those are the people who say that they have enjoyed their lives. But it starts with being responsible stewards of what God has given you, regardless of where you are, regardless of what you do, regardless of how much you make. You got to come to a place where you can say that I am living comfortable life. Somebody may make $100,000 a year. Somebody may make 60,000. Somebody may make 30,000. But the person that may actually enjoy their life the most may be the person who is making 30,000, because they have set themselves up to live within their means. They are planning to make more. I don't enjoy, and I don't like people being happy with poverty. If you have watched the channel, I'm pretty sure we don't encourage people to be happy to be poor. No. Scripture says that, beloved, I wish above all things that you prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers. That's what it says. And so we want you to prosper. But before you hit your prosperity arena, before you hit the $1 million mark as an entrepreneur, or just as somebody who even as an employee, before you hit that place, we want you to have a comfortable, enjoyable life. That does not affect your health. And you can do that if you manage financial stress very well. And I know that we can use this video to say everything about how to manage them. But these are very key things that we have mentioned. Deal with the financial stress, budget your money, and curb your appetite. Cut down on the lust for worldly materials, the stuff that you may not need. Some people have cars, and in the US you can trade in your car every 3 years if you lease, and you can get a new car every 3 years. It's very tempting. This I was just browsing through the new car models for 2023, and I'm like, man, maybe I should go for this one. No, I can't, because my car is still good. But if you don't take care, they will trick you into thinking, if you change your car every 3 years, you will not go to the mechanic because before it breaks down, you're waiting for a new one. But they don't tell you the other part, that you keep paying and paying and paying and paying. One of the cars that I was looking at says pay the down payment for the lease is $3,999. $4,000 you have to put down to lease it, and then every month you pay the car note until 3 years, and you have to take it back. My goodness, how are you going to live a life of abundance if that's going to be continuous? If you do that and you have a plan to buy it out and then keep it for some time, then it's good, because eventually you buy it and you make sure you get the most out of your car, and that is fine. But to do it every 3 years because it is cool, everybody is doing that. Your friends are all driving new cars. Why not you? That's a recipe for disaster. Stress, stress, stress. And some of the women too that we marry, my goodness, my goodness. My goodness. Some of them, I'm not saying all of them, some women are very, very insatiable. They can never be satisfied. You can buy them the whole world and they will keep asking for more. They want to be like their friends. Their friend's husband did this for them. Their friend's husband or boyfriend did this for them. So you got to do it. Babe, that's not good. That's not good, all right? You got to be tamed. You got to say that, no, we have to have something out there for us that we can look up to and say that, hey, we also made it. You cannot live by what other people do. And I mentioned some women because, from the culture that I come from, that is how it works. But it also works the other way for some men. Some men too, if their friend is doing this, they got to do it too. My goodness. Same thing for some men. They do the same thing, and they are bringing stress on their families, on their marriages. Children are always stressed because mom and dad are always fighting about money. Why? Because they are strained out of using and spending more than what they can actually afford. Sometimes they can afford it, don't get me wrong. But after being able to afford, there's no room for anything. You can go out many times with your wife because there's no extra money left. You can't do anything else. It's just everything is going to the bills. And that is not what God wants you to live your life to be. So we definitely want to beat financial stress and beat stress in general so that we will live better, happier lives. And so, yes, let's see. My goodness, I have more likes on there. And I think there's also another comment right here. Mr. Paul Hamza says that I believe it can also lead to drug addiction. Oh, yes. Stress can lead to drug addiction. Some people become very stressed, and after being so stressed, they stick to drugs just to calm them down. So financial stress came on them. They became mentally ill, and now they need some drugs to keep them, from being, to keep them, cool, to keep them calm and stuff like that. Drug addiction. So financial stress and stress can lead to addictions of all types because you need an escape route. And if the escape route is drugs, then obviously that is what is going to happen. So if you have another comment, you can send it as we wrap up. But I just want to let it be clear to everybody that nobody, unless you are a child of a second generation or third generation a parent who bought a huge life insurance and left you a lot, which I know a lot of people, a lot of Americans have. We go to college and some people, their tuition is paid for. But you got to not only get a loan, you got to sign it for yourself. Your parents are not even able, they don't have the good credit to even sign a loan for you. So everybody is different, you know, unless you come from a place where you actually have everything given to you. You got to live with a mindset that I got to live in a way that my children will not live this kind of lifestyle, by setting yourself up to be better stewards of your money and stress, so that you'll be around also for a longer time, because you're not all that stressed, you know. So that is very important. And I like the likes and the thumbs up and the laughs that we have seen on the live. And if you're watching on the replay, make sure you still do the same. We're going to continue our series on stress for a few more episodes, and then we will switch to a different area. And we have lined up some people who are going to come to help us out on this line of stress management in the future. So we hope that you will be here with us next week when